Здравствуйте, ребята. Hello, class. My name is Miss Elena, so everyone knows me, and this is my team, Team Russia, and they are going to introduce themselves.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Pelagia. My name is Pelagia. I'm a famous folk rock singer from Russia, and I was born on July 14, 1986.
Привет, меня зовут Anna Vladimirovna Turachina. I was born August 15, 1990, but I'm better known as my stage name, Yusha. I am a very popular Russian singer and songwriter.
Привет, меня зовут Princess Vasilisa. I'm a Russian fairy tale princess with the story The Firebird and Princess Vasilisa. I'm unlike any other princesses because I defeat my villains by completing my own tasks instead of relying on someone else.
Привет, меня зовут Alla Krejcova. I am the most famous Russian girl singer. I've had the most influence on Russian music, and I was born April 15, 1949. So I'm older than all of you.
Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Leo Kastoy. I am a famous Russian writer. I wrote the novel War and Peace, which currently, under its modern translation, has over 400,000 words. I am one of the most famous religious leaders of Russia, and during the Crimean War, I was called a junker, as I was giving money and war and equipment to the Crimean people and the Russian people.
Okay. Well, top picture, that's the map of Europe, and the green one is Russia, as you can see. And this bottom one is called the Red Square. It is home to most of Russia's government and a lot of the important landmarks that they have. Then the middle one is the Russian Aurora Borealis, or some call it Northern Lights. It happens in northern Russia. And that top one is the Church of the Savior on the Spilled Blood. It is where a very famous emperor was murdered, and it was built in 1803 to 1863, and it was closed down in 1930 to about 1960 for renovations, and it was just recently reopened for tourists. And the bottom is called Charlotka. It is a famous Russian dessert. It is like an apple pie.
Fat tax. Russia is also known as the Russian Federation. Russia is the largest country in the world. The currency is called ruble. Russia is located across 9 time zones, and since it's located across 9 time zones, from July to August, they have what's called white nights. And they call it white nights because at night it stays almost as bright as it does during the day. In 2013, Russia was estimated to have a population of around 143 million people, and 9 million of those are women and 9 million men. At the nearest point, Russia and Alaska are less than 4 kilometers apart at the nearest point, and Russia is larger than Pluto.
Okay, history. In 1547, Ivan IV, or Ivan the Terrible, was crowned the first Tsar of Russia. In 1689 to 1725, Tsar Peter the Great laid the foundation for the Russian Empire. In 1855 to 1881, during his reign, Tsar Alexander II freed serfs, and serfs are slaves in case you didn't know. In 1917, during the Russian Revolution, Vladimir Lenin and Leon Trotsky took control of the government. In 1918, Tsar Nicholas II and his family were executed. In 1922, Russia became part of the Soviet Union. In 1924 to 1953, Joseph Stalin turned the USSR into a military base. In 1948, the Cold War began. In 1961, the first man in space was actually from Russia. In 1985 to 1991, Khalid Gorbachev restructures the government and the USSR collapses. And in 2010, the USA and Russia agreed to reduce nuclear weapons. And a random fun fact, Russia is known for their extraordinary ballet.
The Russian government. I'm going to make this as painless as possible. In 1993, the Constitution created a dual executive consisting of a president and a prime minister, but the president is the most dominant figure in Russian government. The law requires that at least 50% of eligible voters are required to participate in the Russian elections. The presidential term is set at 6 years, and the president may serve only 2 terms. A candidate for president must be a citizen of Russia and at least 35 years of age, and a resident of the country for at least 10 years. And they must not have a residency anywhere else or a citizenship anywhere else. Russia's president determines the basic direction of Russia's domestic and foreign policies and represents Russia's states within the country and its foreign affairs. The cabinet structure consists of the Prime Minister, the Chairman of the government, Deputy Prime Ministers, and federal ministers and their ministries and departments. On the graph, you can see that Russia's government is separated into many different sections, and neither of these sections actually depend on one another. They are separate from one another, and they, by doing this, have no conflicts whatsoever between these ministries. Russian culture. Russian culture is very, very close. So I'm going to start with a couple of basics. Russian superstitions. Everybody knows black cats are very, very unlucky. Nobody knows that they actually started in Russia. The Russian nesting dogs. Can anybody tell me the real name of the Russian nesting dogs? Matryoshka. Yes, thank you. And a typical Russian family. Typical Russian family, just similar to American families. We have a father, a mother, and 2 siblings. Most likely either a brother and a sister, or 2 brothers and a sister. Modern Russia. Everybody knows that this year the Olympics were held in Russia, and we also know that modern Russia is also a very, very large superpower. And Russian holidays. Does anybody know the Christmas of Russia, and when it is located and what date it is? No? Okay. It is located January 7th. And then tell me what Christmas figure we have there that the boy is holding. Santa Claus? Anybody say Santa Claus? Anybody gonna say Santa Claus?
Saint Nick.
Saint Nick? No. It is Grandfather Frost. And he does not have elves, he has a granddaughter Frost. And Russian New Year is even bigger than Christmas. And it lasts longer than we do. So, thank you.
All right, who's all ready for trivia? Russian is also known as the blank. Noel. In what year did Russia become part of the Soviet Union?
Nobody?
Take a guess.
1922 by Ms. Ramsey.
Yay!
What is the Red Square most famous for? Ed?
St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Anybody else?
Matt?
For having all of the government buildings in that area along with the famous horse.
Okay, and lastly, who is the current president of Russia? Let's go with Cynthia.
Do you know his name?
What is his full name?
Do you know his middle name? Vladimir.
Yeah, Putin works better.
Thank you.
Thank you.